Hey guys, Miss Manifest here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am doing a double interview for my podcast as well for YouTube and wherever this flows to. I have an amazing individual. Oh my gosh. So his name is Joseph. He is literally helping people manifest their dream job. So why did I bring him on this platform? Because I know everybody keeps asking me, how can I get a like the greatest job? How can I do it? You know, so I actually found him. He found me actually. He was like, listen, he was telling me all these amazing things that he does and you know how people can really just take their job to the next level. And I said, you know what, you'll be great for this platform. So guys, you know, he'll have his information in the description below. Please follow, you know, all of the social media platforms and the links below. He's going to give you all his information. I'm super excited to have him here. Joseph, tell him a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. And, you know, I'm glad we manifested connecting on this platform and sharing information. So as a little bit of background on what made me such an expert in this field, I'll start with the fact that I didn't know what I want to do when I grow up. So I actually switched careers 9 times in my life and jobs 18 times. So I've gone through the trials and tribulations that most people are like, nobody's knowing me. I have all these skills, but no one's paying attention to how great I am kind of thing. Beyond that, I've also worked in recruiting for nearly 20 years. I've worked with some of the largest companies in the world, such as IBM, Deloitte & Touche, Apotex Pharmaceuticals, and I've been a generalist in recruiting, so I've been in the market for a very long time and continue to be. And finally, as part of my transition in careers, I realized that a lot of the information that's out there on how to manifest the perfect job is very repetitive, generic, cookie cutter style, like, you know, write a resume, but it doesn't actually teach you why no one's hiring. So I've actually written 6 books on the subject matter. And not only that, but I've had the honor and the pleasure of helping over 11,000 people find their dream job. I have a 90% success rate of finding anybody employment in any field in under 3 months. And the fastest I found people a job is 2 days in their field.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So hold on. Time out. What? 11,000 people? Like, that's astronomical. So, all right, guys, you guys have a chance, okay? So when you manifest, you got to take action. So make sure that you're contacting him because he literally has helped 11,000 people. That's a lot. 2 days was your fastest. Like, this is even. And you help people all around the world, like no matter where?
Yeah, around the world, mainly in North America.
Okay.
Basically, I've helped new graduates from university. I've helped people with criminal records. I've helped new immigrants that are kind of trying to start and manifest the better life that they came for in North America.
Wow.
And then regular job seekers that feel, you know, whether it's you've been stuck in a job that you hate. Sadly, the statistics say that 80 to 90% of people in North America currently hate their job. And the number one reason why they hate their job is the way that they're treated. And so regular, you know, more mature individuals that, you know, have been downsized there. And unfortunately, COVID hit a lot of people. The statistics say that 60 to 65 million people in North America lost their job, most of that in the US. And the fact of the matter is there are jobs out there. It's just a matter of knowing what to do correctly so that you can manifest it, and you can manifest getting noticed, you can manifest getting interviewed, and you can manifest getting hired. And my life's purpose is to help people understand it's a lot easier than you think. There is a science to manifesting your dream job and to landing it right away, kind of thing.
Wow. So what's the top three things they need to know to manifest their job right now? Like, first, I know it's contact you, but do they need to do anything behind the scenes to do it? I know, guys, for you guys in the back, that's literally knowing about the techniques like scripting and stuff. I have a YouTube about that. So we'll talk about scripting, but he's going to talk about the logistics of what you need to do to take the action to get your job. All right, guys? All right, go ahead.
So I'll break it down into kind of a few things. Number one, and you said it a little bit earlier, Lori, it's take action. You know, the worst thing that you can do is quote unquote apply online on Indeed. Okay. because one job posting on Indeed before COVID was getting between 350 and 5,000 applicants. Now with COVID, that competition has quadrupled. So that means that one job posting is getting between 1,500 and 10,000 applicants. Most companies look at the first 100. Now here's and I'll start by sharing this tip, and then I'll kind of go back to what needs to be done. So most companies look at the first 100 because they figure they're going to find a great candidate. And most job postings in North America say, don't call us, we'll call you. And most people go, okay, I'll wait. That is the biggest mistake you can make. First thing you should do is call the company and say, listen, my computer just crashed. Can you confirm that my application went through? My internet's been wonky. Can you confirm that you got my application? I never got a confirmation from your site. Can you check that my application went through? When HR or whoever you call goes to check if your application went through, you go from being whatever number you are on the list to being first, right? So if they're looking at the first 100, you're number one now. Now you got them on the phone. So you have the opportunity to go, before I hang up, here's 2 or 3 things that you should really know about me, why I'm the best candidate for this opportunity.
Wow.
Right? And you're manifesting that energy by saying that to the company and going, here's the results that I produced. Here's the achievements I had, right? Because when they hear the achievement, they go, oh, wow. And they listen to it. And then the third thing that you can do, which again, it goes hand in hand, is ask when they're going to start interviewing for the show. So if they say we're going to interview next week, say, okay, if I don't hear from you next week, can I call you back to get feedback on my resume, to get an idea of how I can make my resume better for the next time? But the fact that you're planting that seed, you're also manifesting opportunities, because if they start interviewing next week and they don't like any of the candidates and they forgot about you, when you call them back, now they go, wait a minute, this candidate's called me twice now. This candidate is super excited about it. This candidate's taking action. This is the kind of candidate that we want here. This is the kind of employee that will produce results for us. And it changes the conversation. So first thing is take action. And along with taking action, stop spending all your time online. It is a waste of time. No more than 10% of your energy should be directed at online job boards because you get lost in them. So you should spend some of your time with employment agencies that either specialize in your market or are bigger ones that are more. And you should register with multiple agencies because it's granted some of them will not like you. They might not like your accent. They might not like where you work. They might not like something like, we're not like, as a, diverse and equitable society, we're not going to kind of say, I don't like this about you, so I'm not hiring. We're just going to potentially ignore. So register with agencies, because if, let's say you register with 6 agencies and 3 of them don't like you for whatever reason, 3 of them do, which means now they're going to work to place you because they make commission if they place you.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
so now you're manifesting more resources to you. The third thing that you should do is spend some time and energy on LinkedIn, right? Take advantage. So on LinkedIn, there is a function called InMail where you can reach out to people that are not in your network. I think it costs about $35 a month and you get access to 10 people, but it gives you an in with the company. And what you can do is start building rapport with people that work there, right? Get to know them a little bit. And I'll talk more about that later throughout our conversation, because there's some specific techniques for that. And have them recommend you, because when they recommend you, they get money if you pass probation. So it's in their interest, because just like anything in life, Lori, like for you, if you like a restaurant, you tell your friends about it. You're like, oh, you should go check out that restaurant, right? So that restaurant's getting more business. Companies want to hire people that people in the company know and like, because now there's a level of, we trust you already because you've worked here. We know you. If they're as good as you, great. That means our company is going to make a lot more money or be more successful. So get that, build that relationship, get that. The next part of it, and this is part of also manifesting, is start networking. but networking in the direction that is of interest for you. So if you're working in finance, find wherever you live, finance meetings, even if they're virtual, attend them, right? And I say this throughout, make sure you brand yourself when you go networking. So my favorite color is purple. I'm wearing a purple shirt right now. This is my favorite watch. Every time I go networking and I speak to somebody, I'm always wearing this watch. I'm always wearing a purple shirt. So that when I follow up the next day, I say, hey, I'm the guy with the purple shirt. They might not remember my name, but they'll remember the purple shirt. So have a signature look that kind of, this is you, whether it's a hat, whether it's a pin, whether it's earrings, whether it's a particular necklace, whether it's a scarf, whether it's a tie for men, whether it's a, there, because they're conversation starters and they build rapport. And the last part of manifesting the perfect job, and this goes back to principles of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, is, create a position just for you by calling an executive and sharing information. And one of the ways to get a hold of executives and get them to respond to you very, very quickly is to say that you want to interview them for a podcast, for an article.
Oh, wow.
Because most people that are successful love sharing their knowledge, their wisdom. And unless they're looking for a job themselves, other than their partner, they don't necessarily get a lot of opportunities to brag about how great they are.
So everybody needs a podcast so they can get up in the door,
Exactly. So you can manifest more opportunities by being a little bit different and doing a little bit extra than everybody else, as opposed to just saying, I've sent out 1,000 resumes, no one's responding, there's no jobs out there. Whenever I hear I've sent out 1,000 resumes, I look at them and go, your resume sucks and you don't know what you're doing.
Wow.
That's the reality, because you don't need to send out 1,000 resumes. It's a lot of waste of time and energy because you're focusing on the wrong things, right? Okay. And this is where, can I share a quick story of, for example, you were excited with 2 days of getting somebody hired quickly. Yeah. So here's a story and how I did this for this. So when I started salsa dancing about 15 years ago, my salsa partner was still in college and studying graphic design. And there was an internship for a very large telecom company in Canada. And she calls me up. She says, oh my God, I really, 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 really want this internship. Can you help me? And I'm like, you really, really want it? She's like, yeah, I'll do anything. I'm like, first of all, right, consider me like you're Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid. Whatever I tell you, you have to do. Wax on, wax off, don't ask any questions. I'm going to guide. First thing is, your resume, like you're applying for a graphic design role. You're not allowed to have a black and white cookie cutter resume, because the word graphic and design are in your job. Now, if you remember the movie Legally Blonde, when Elle Woods applies to Harvard University or for the internship, she gives a pink scented resume. And everyone's like, oh my God, it's pink and it's scented. But they remember it. So do something on your resume to make it memorable. So we made her resume green. We put, like, she had a little like dancing figure that she had as her bullet points, right? Sent in the resume. 2 weeks go by. She calls me, goes, they didn't even call me. You suck. An hour later, they called her, right? And they were like, listen, we're so sorry we didn't call you sooner. We received 7,400 applications for 20 unpaid internships. Your resume was one of our favorites. And in her resume, for example, she was a barista in a coffee shop. I showed how her being a barista is actually graphic design, because she did pictures on the phone for the coffee, for the lattes or the cappuccinos and stuff like that. Right. The director told her that because there were so many applicants, there's going to be a 3-interview process, and her first interview is going to be in 2 days. So he hangs up the phone. She calls him back. She's, oh my God, they called. What do I do? I'm like, first, apologize to me, right, for telling me that I suck and I don't know what I'm doing. After I kind of made fun of her, I was like, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go, first of all, organize all of your graphic files into a folder that's easily accessible. So back in the day, there was a software called Flickr, which was very popular around graphic designers. So she organized all her work. Then I sent her to like Kinko's to print her 10 best pieces of work in high-end quality glossy paper so that it really shines. And then I taught her my 7 rules to a wow interview that guarantee results, and that's another story. And kind of prepared her. She shows up for the interview 2 days later. She has her portfolio ready. She's super confident. She goes in 15 minutes into her first interview 2 days later. The director puts down his pen and goes, listen, I've been running this program for 10 years. I have never been so impressed with the candidate as I am with you.
Wow.
I'm not even bothering with the second or third interview. Congratulations, you're my first hire.
Look
Right?
at that. So
2 days later, right? Similarly with my wife works with autistic kids. When we were dating, she was working in a private school for like to help with behavior therapy for autistic children. And she failed her evaluation by 1%. She needed 97% and she got 96%. And her employer was, well, since you failed by 1%, we're not going to renew your contract. Think about it, like she got 96% and she's been working there for a while. So after crying for a couple of days, I reminded her that she is dating one of the best career kind of coaches or gurus in North America.
Yeah. Period.
So I wrote her resume. On Sunday, she sent out 7 resumes. Monday, she had 3 companies called her. Tuesdays, 3 companies interviewed her. And on Tuesday, 3 companies offered her a job.
Wow.
Right. And again, same system that I taught my salsa partner. So be different when you're manifesting. Be proactive.
Go ahead.
So it's not just there because the resume is a starting point, but most people when they write the resume, and here's a massive, like I think that there is 5, we'll call it cardinal sins for a resume.
Okay.
And these are the reasons why nobody hires you. Number 1, you use Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri as a font. Those are the 3 most popular fonts in Microsoft Word. And so you look like everybody else. You get lost in the sea of sameness.
Oh.
Number 2, you're using black circles, squares, arrows, or dashes as your bullet points. I'm not a graphic designer, but if you go to insert symbol in whatever word processor you're using, because Mac has some really cool symbols as well, you can find something like diamond. You can find something that's like unique, your personality fit, stand out a little bit. Number 3, people have like a section in their resume called skills, where they write generic information like I'm hardworking, dedicated, committed, and a team player with excellent communication skills. In 20 years of recruiting, I've met very few people that say, listen, I'm lazy, I'll show up late, none of my work will be any good, and I really hate people, please hire me. Not unless you're related to them or having an affair with them, that you can kind of get away with that. Right.
I get it.
And here's the thing, Lori, you and I know each other a little bit, but your definition of hardworking and my definition of hardworking could be very, very different. Right. So just saying that you're hardworking doesn't say anything to me. So if I use a real life example, an accountant that works during tax season must work 80 hours a week, pretty much 80 to 100 hours, 80 hours a week, which is the equivalent of 2 full-time jobs. A nurse that's working right now during COVID that might have to do 4 hours of overtime because the other nurse hasn't shown up. Does that mean that the nurse is less hardworking than the accountant because she's working less hours? No, because there's different levels of stress. There's different levels of responsibility, right? So for an accountant that's working hard 80 hours, what's hardworking, 100? And I think, what's the measure for it? There is no measure. So stop giving me these generic cookie cutter terms.
Got it.
The 4th mistake, and this is affecting more and more people, especially now during COVID, is that the resume is chronological or functional. So if you've taken a part-time job right now in a retail store because you were downsized from your job, and that's the first thing on your resume, If you're looking to be in a professional dream job, employers spend 8 to 30 seconds reading your resume, which means they read the top third to the top half. So if all they see is you're working in retail, they've already dismissed you. You might be the perfect candidate for that role. So stop making your resume chronological functional. I like to create what's called semi-functional resume. And the biggest mistake of all, and this is everything to do with manifesting, is that people say, I know how to do this, or I know how to do this, versus here's the results that I produce, right? You're a manifestation coach. How many people have you coached? How many people have succeeded? How many people have completed the program? That gives you credibility, not I know how to be a coach, for example.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to use two examples. First example is I use this because it's humorous. If I'm hiring a receptionist and someone comes to me and says, I know how to answer the phone, I'm going to look at her in shock, or him, and say, really? A receptionist that knows how to answer the phone? I did not know that. Because unless you live in an igloo, a cave, or a Mennonite, chances are you've pressed, you picked up the phone, pressed the green button, go, hello, how can I help you?
Right.
So if you tell me that you know how to do it, I don't know how good you are. But if you say to me, well, in my last job or at school, I learned how to answer 60 calls a day with 12 different lines. I can measure 60 calls a day with 12 different lines. I cannot measure, I know how to do this, right? So as Miss Manifest, if you're guiding people on how to manifest their dreams, it's not enough for them to go, okay, well, I was thinking about losing weight.
Right.
There has to be an action plan. There has to be something that follows up where you hold them accountable so that they do what either they're afraid of doing or they need the support from you to do in order to manifest what they want. Right.
Exactly.
It's no different in a job. Right. So similarly, I'll use an example from my career when I changed careers so much. If I say to you, Lori, I know how to do sales. I know how to do B2B sales, B2C sales, account management, relationship building, lead generation. Does that tell you how good of a salesman I am?
Yeah.
No, right? But if I said to you, Lori, I work for a private college where when I came in, they did $530,000 in revenue for the year. In 1 month, I generated that college $860,000.
That's amazing.
Would you be convinced that I know something about sales?
Of course, because the other one, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what?
Right. And this is the thing, in terms of manifesting what you want, you have to step into that light that says, this is how great I am. This is what I bring to the table. These are the results that I produce. And any company that hires me, I will only produce better results because I've already learned and I've made mistakes along the way. And now I'm coming to your company with so much knowledge, with so much excitement, with so much energy that I will manifest whatever results. In fact, I will manifest results that are better than your imagination because I'm going to beat all the targets that you give me.
Exactly. So question, so what is the age range you're helping that's doing these? Like,
generally speaking, I help, let's say, university or college graduates, so like 22 to as much as 80 kind of thing. I generally help more in the professional side of things. So these would be people that do things like accounting, engineering, IT, law, pharmaceutical or medical, research, data sciences. But I've also helped people that are in construction or people that, again, usually for new immigrants, they have wonderful experience, but they don't know how to sell what they bring to the table, or they don't know how, let's say, Western society approaches things.
Got it.
So like a quick example of cultural differences. So generally speaking, men from India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, they wear a lot of rings on their hands. And those rings are part of, religious status, health, healing, blessings, and so forth. Now, in Western culture, if a man shows up with 4 to 8 rings, on his fingers, it's a little much. And most Western cultures will be like, okay, that's, over the top. So
Right.
there's a level of like, okay, you can still like wear one or two rings and put the rest of them in your pocket so they're still on you when you go to the interview and you still have your culture and your faith with you, but you're meeting some of the Western appropriate ways of manifesting your dream job, for example.
Got it. That makes sense. So how can somebody like basically once they start with you, how long is the process? What is it that they need to do? How much does it cost? What are certain things that you have to tell them so that they, the viewers is listening, they're like, I want to contact them. What is it
So there's
around
two things to understand. So there is an online platform which is self-directed for people to do the course. The course currently is on sale for $97 instead of $1,800.
Okay.
And it's basically 10 modules, start to finish. I've given you my 25,000 hours of mastery into a course that guarantees results, basically.
Oh wow.
And I've provided research, like I've provided 15 templates of resumes and cover letters that get
Okay.
results instantly. I've provided list of the top employment agencies in the US and the top employment agencies in Canada. I've provided a list of the top job boards in Canada and in the US. I've given tips on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, where unfortunately, many LinkedIn profiles are very generic and don't really tell me much.
Right.
And a lot about like how to interview correctly, where to network, how to network, et cetera, et cetera. So that is kind of self-directed. And then you can also work with me one-on-one. So I do have a Facebook group called Land Your Dream Job Now.
Wow.
That is kind of I posted, and I do seminars and webinars where people can attend and kind of share some of the experiences. And I do live coaching to whoever's on the call based on their questions or based on kind of specific scenarios, for example. And the live coaching with me, again, there's different packages on whether or not you just want me to write your resume, you want me to write your resume and your LinkedIn profile, you want me to teach you how to interview, or you want me to hold your hand until you get hired, basically, right? And the benefit of me holding your hand until you get hired is that, as I said, 90% results with 11,000 people that you get hired in under 3 months in your field, kind of thing.
Wow.
So I guarantee results, but here's the thing. I, as a coach, can only do so much. So if I give you homework and you don't do the homework, your process is going to take longer to manifest the job that you want.
Wow.
If you do the homework I give you, you can get hired in as little as 2 days. Because the 2 days has actually happened with about 30 people that I've helped. So it is possible. It's just a matter of how you stand out and what you do to manifest it so that people know and want to reach you. Like when I say people want to reach you, like I was helping somebody who's still abroad, who is in supply chain and logistics management.
Wow.
I logged in at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to his LinkedIn profile to optimize it. By 10
Can you
a.m.
explain what optimize is for the people that really don't understand?
So optimizing is basically making sure that people actually see your profile, people actually view it, and people are interested. So the average LinkedIn profile might get between 10 and 50 views per week. Wow. When I kind of do things on LinkedIn, the average views are between 300 and 600 per week.
Wow. So you got special techniques, huh? Look.
Well, there again, it's populating it with information most people don't think it's relevant, kind of thing. And it's knowing the algorithms. I've been in this so long that I also know how the algorithms for most of these job boards and databases work. And so through his profile, I emailed a few companies or agencies that specialize in logistics and supply chain saying he's available for work. By 10 a.m., 2 companies called him. He's not even in the country yet. He's still abroad.
Wow, so that's good to know for people that are not even in the area. You can help them just get prepared. This is amazing. That's a big thing.
Right. And that's where, again, it can expedite the process for immigration if you have potential job offers. And in some cases, there is such a desperate need for skilled professionals
Mhm.
that companies are willing to sponsor you to come here and get the work done.
Right.
And similarly, there is, um, like New York is an amazing city. I've been to New
Yeah.
York. I've been to New York 5 times, and just the hustle and bustle, the energy. There's always something happening in New York.
Yes.
So there's a level where you also need to be proactive about going, okay, what are the resources that are active? What are the resources that are kind of working? Who can I speak to? And if I don't know, can I ask questions? Can
Right.
I can I hire the right people? And you're helping people manifest their dream life. Part of a dream life is having a good job because once you have a good job, you also have that confidence to start dating, to have
Yeah.
to more things in life that you want to experience or want to do. And so it goes hand in hand, like your expertise is, and let's do mindset, let's do this in terms of where do you want to go. My expertise is to take the mindset of, okay, I'm in action, but now I'm in action for my job. And
I
then,
like to try that. Hmm.
right. And so you can help them on their mental health, you can help them in strategy, you can help them in this.
Hmm.
And it goes hand in hand because some of the
Right.
conversations that I'm having about manifesting your dream job or landing your dream job is is did you take this action? Yes, no, why? Right? And having those conversations where, again, when you are in your light, when you are present to your greatness, companies will hear that, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
wanna it, can I share a quick little story about that,
Of
for example?
course.
So one of my favorite examples of that is my brother was finishing his third year mechanical engineering degree, applied for an internship. By the time one of the companies responded to him, it was going to be more of a paper pusher job, and he already registered for its fourth year classes. So
Right.
he asked me to cancel the interview. I decided to go in as my brother. I studied economics and business. The only thing I know about mechanical engineering is what I wrote for him on his resume. The first interview, there was 100 students from 4 major universities in Ontario, Canada. Within 45 minutes, human resource called me back, said, "We love you. We need to come back for a second interview with the manager of the department that you work with." I'm like, all right, let's see how far I can take this. Now, I spoke the truth about my brother's resume. So my brother was on a team that designed a wheelchair for third world nations that use a tank chain so it can go on any terrain. Came second in Ontario, Canada for the best mechanical engineering project of the year, won $500 from one of the major banks here. Told the manager I studied thermodynamics and quantum physics. To this day, I have no idea what those are. I didn't even need the parking lot. Manager called me on the cell phone and said, "I adore you. I need to come back for a third and final interview." I was like, all right. Out of 100 candidates, I made it to the final three. I was the first one in at 8:30 in the morning. Manager walked over to me and goes, "Here's your offer letter. The job's yours. All you have to do is pass this mechanical engineering test." I looked at him. I look at the test. I look at him. I look at the test. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't do this test." Manager looked at me and goes, "I know you're nervous. Let me help you." He solved the first two questions for me. I looked at him and I said, "Listen, I am so sorry for wasting your time. I guess I'm a lot more comfortable with the design than I am with the calculations. I am not the right candidate for this job.
Oh,
Thank you.
shoot.
Thank you for the opportunity." Manager followed me to the car and begged me to take the job because I'd interviewed that much better than every other mechanical engineer.
That's amazing. So you immaculate guys. You already hear how important, how important is it to have somebody like that giving you the opportunity to manifest your dream job? So what's one more question that I wanted to ask was, what do you ask your client to basically align them with the correct job? Like what is what do you gauge? Because a lot of my clients that right now, like currently, like I have the dream achieve the dream program. A lot of my clients, they're not happy at their job, so they want to transition. So I know how to get them to, gauge to find out exactly what will make them happy. But how would you do that in your profession?
Again, so first question is, what are some of your hobbies? What are some of your interests? What are you passionate about? Because let's say music is your passion, you might not have made it as a musician, but if music is your passion and you get paid $100 a month to go gig once a month, make sure it's in your life, because that will boost your energy. That will give you a whole level of excitement. So first of all is kind of figure out what it is that excites you. And in doing so, then the next conversation is, are you willing to get re-educated in order to create those opportunities and manifest what you want? Or do you want to get hired now? And so if the answer is, do you want to get hired now? Let's look at what are some of your passions and interests that we can guide you towards the job that you want by changing the words that you use, not only on your resume or your LinkedIn profile, but also in the interview. So for example, I can tell you that I organized a birthday party for my daughter who just turned 1.
Aww.
So organizing a birthday party as a parent is it's a joy and a pleasure. But organizing a birthday party is also project management, because according to the definition of a project, it has to have a beginning, middle, and end. So the beginning was the organization, the middle was the kind of day of the party and kind of what happened at the party,
right,
and the end was the after the party kind of thing.
Got
the
it.
pictures, the this. So I can use project management. So I had a project where I organized a birthday party. The same example, different language, right?
Word.
And since you're Miss Manifest, we exist in language. You know, I think Eminem said it best when he said, "I am who you say I am. If you say I'm smart,
Right.
I'm smart. If you say I'm funny, I'm funny." Why? Because we exist in listening. So if you learn how to speak, "I'm a great leader," companies will listen to you as "I'm a great leader." Right? And so you could take the same job and just change the wording. So one job is I'm a salesman, one job is I'm a project manager, one job is I'm a sales leader. Same job, just the words that you use, for example, to manifest it.
Got it.
Part of the process, and again, this is where I've invested so much time and energy that, with the exception of a few weird Google interview questions, there isn't a question I don't know how to answer, because it's a science for me. So when I work with people one-on-one, the way that I make sure that I understand who and what they are is I get them to send me their current resume and then 5 to 10 job postings that they're interested in. And I create one master resume that has all of it, that also highlights how great they are. And the moment that they look and go, "Oh my God, I've done all this stuff. I didn't even think about how much I've done in my life." Because, and one of the things I say to people, and this is how you should think about writing your resume, even if you're not a wordsmith. When you come home from work and you speak to your partner, do you say, "I did some work today"? Probably not. You usually go, "You know what? Today I worked on this problem and it took me the whole day. I'm so excited that I found a solution for it. And this is what I did. This is how I did it." That is how you need to write your resume, with that level of enthusiasm and excitement, because you're manifesting that energy into existence, and you're manifesting that level of, "Holy smokes, I didn't think I was that good at what I do." And for some professions, it's really hard to measure. For other professions, it's not. And it's just a matter of asking the right questions. You know, the 5 W's and an H, like, how did you do this? When did you do this? What did you do? Right? So it applies to everything, because obviously people that are going through your program that want to achieve things, part of your coaching is to kind of go, "Okay, you want to do this. When are you going to do it by? What are you willing to commit or sacrifice to get there?" Right? What can I hold you accountable for? So you're asking those quantifiable questions. You're just doing it from a perspective of manifesting the life that you want.
Right.
I ask the same questions from a perspective of manifesting the dream job.
I love it. I think that's amazing. So I think you did amazing. I think that's enough information for them. They have overwhelming amount of information. They're gonna have to clip it up and be like, "Hold on, let me listen to something now later," because I know it's a wealth of information. Like, we did great. So I had one more question. This was a random question. So why did you choose to, contact me and be like, "I want to be on your platform"?
honestly, first of all, I know you, so there is a level of love and appreciation for who you are as a person and how much you've manifested in the 2 or 3 years that we've known each other. The other thing is, I'm right now very focused on bringing my gift and helping people, especially in the US. And being in Canada, the fastest way to get into the US without being on the ground is through podcasts because I'm getting access and leverage to a network that I don't have right now. And I'm
Yeah.
getting access to people that are not part of the conversation yet because they don't know who I am and what I've done, how much I've done of it, right? And so to me, it goes hand in hand because you know what? Everything happens for a reason, everything happens in its own divine time. And so the fact that you have also shifted how you approach not only your podcast, but also approached the way that you want to gift people manifesting their dream life. I thought, okay, well, the timing's perfect. And this is where it's a level where I'm playing much bigger right now. And in order for me to play as big as I'm playing, I I like, it's starting with let's be on big podcasts in the US and
Right.
grow that exposure so that, you know, eventually somebody's heard of me that's heard of me that's heard of me, but the messaging is consistent. Let's say if somebody looks me up on LinkedIn, there's about 60, 70 testimonials of what I've done for people and how quickly I've done it for them. In a sense of, had one conversation, the next day I was hired, kind of thing, because I forgot about this or I didn't think about that. And sometimes we get in our own way because we're so attached, we're so kind of but there, and so and it's a level of seeking out mentors. It's a level of seeking out professionals and going, okay, you know, I know this piece, and again, Lori, you're great at what you do,
Thank you.
and and I've seen some of the lives, I've seen some of your social media to see the results that people have had with your coaching, and that's awesome. And you know what? I'm a firm believer that you should be an entrepreneur if that's your calling. But even to be an entrepreneur,
Yes.
sometimes you need to have a great job in
Yes.
order to pay for your dream, right?
Exactly. That's that part right there. Yes.
Right. And that's where, like, even if you're ready to be an entrepreneur, people forget that entrepreneur is not overnight success. There's a lot of time and dedication and things that need to be manifest in order to be a successful entrepreneur. And sometimes when you're that overwhelmed, having a great paying job that allows you to, let's say, pay for social media advertising, that allows you to kind of meet the right people,
right,
will open those doors and create those opportunities for you. But if you want to be entrepreneurial, awesome, great, I 100% support it. But even as an entrepreneur, these skills that I teach in job finding will help you in hiring the right people for your team and surrounding yourself with geniuses that can do the things that you don't want to do. So, I've been let's say a recruiter headhunter for nearly 20 years. I hire great accountants because I don't love doing accounting, right? I hire lawyers that know the law to make sure that my contracts are very specific, right? I've started learning about social media, but it's a conversation that I find sometimes overwhelming. So I'm surrounding myself with people that can produce the results for my social media. In order for me to grow. And it's the same thing with manifesting. That there are certain things that, again, theoretically, every human being on earth knows how to lose weight. Exercise and eat healthier. It ain't that complicated.
Right.
But let's say people love their donut or people love their this, and they don't necessarily have the willpower on their own, which is why we hire personal trainers, because personal trainers, when we're doing certain weightlifting exercise, we might do, okay, we've done 5 and we're like, okay, we're tired or muscle hurts. And the personal trainer is going to give you that extra push to do 5 more. And you're in pain and you're cursing your personal trainer. But when you see that result, you're like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that you did that.
Right.
And this is what you do for people in terms of helping them achieve and manifest their dream life, is to push them beyond that comfort zone. I do the same for job finding. And for me, job finding is, you know, I can do it in my sleep because I'm so programmed to understand the market, to understand what's there, that I come up with resources that people are like, I've never even thought of that. You know, didn't think that was even an option for me. And that's where my gift comes in, because I've invested 25,000 hours to master everything there's to know about job finding and the workforce, and helping organizations scale by hiring the right people, for example. And because I've been a generalist, I have a much broader sense of understanding how to manifest a dream job.
No, I get this is immaculate. And I had a whole plan out for you and everything that I'm thinking about, that I think that you should definitely do and to get into New York. So this is what I do, because I get downloads all the time from people. I'm like, oh, you should do this. And they're like, oh, I'm like, it just came to me. So I wrote a whole thing. I'll tell you after. And that's why I asked why. Because
unfortunately, Toronto is still under COVID restrictions for another 2 weeks. So hopefully after that, life will normalize and things will open. Trust me.
Okay. You don't need that right now. It's perfectly fine. I can go all around that.
New York is one of my favorite, like, of all the places I've traveled to. I like the stories I can tell you about the experiences I've had in New York can only happen in New York. Right. Right.
Yes,
like going to Jamaica Avenue in Queens.
Yes.
And buying a stereo where, for you, my friend, best price. Come on, for you, my friend, best price. You know, you can't have that anywhere else in New York. But yeah, I've had amazing experience in New York. New York is a blast, and my wife's never been, so I would love to take my wife and daughter on a road trip. But unfortunately, borders are closed, and
it's okay.
But look, this too shall pass.
Yes, it will. Do you want to tell the audience where to find you at? So I'm going to put it in the description as well, but you can tell them.
So again, on Facebook is Land Your Dream Job Now is the name of the group. I've sent you the link that I guess you'll post for the online course. On LinkedIn, Josef Stetter. I think I'm the only Josef Stetter there. Making sure that my name is with an F, Josef, as opposed to PH. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I generally tend to respond to Facebook, LinkedIn, my groups very quickly. Or you can email me at landyourdreamjobnow@gmail.com. Nice and easy.
There you go. Thank you. So I'm gonna put all of that information in the description. I'm like super excited. And you guys, you better book him. He's literally gonna help you get in alignment with your dream job. So it was a lot of information. So I hope you took, well, I know if you're on my platform, you know to grab a pen and paper. I don't play that. You gotta grab a pen and paper. I be writing and I'm doing an interview. I don't care, I'm still learning. So, so thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I know you're busy with your beautiful family. And I just want to say God bless you and your family and your daughter. And
and thank you for having me. It's been an honor and a joy. And thank you for giving me a platform to share my genius and my gift to the world.
You're so welcome. So take care. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Okay, bye.